My name is Lindsay Altoffer. I'm 25 years old. I currently work at Trader Joe's and I'm going back to school to become a social worker. I'm diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2 and ADD, which stands for Attention Deficit Disorder. I was diagnosed at age 18 and I was admitted to a psychiatric ward. I really had no knowledge or education about this disorder, and so I became very suicidal. And being in that psychiatric ward was absolutely the best thing that has ever happened to me. I was finally able to put a name to what I was going through, and it made a lot of sense. And after I got out of that, I started on medication, and it just didn't seem like it was working. So I just thought, well, if this medication doesn't work, what's the point? Like, why continue? And so I ended back up at the psychiatric ward. I was finally able to get on a better medication, and I've been progressing and doing better ever since. My grandmother is actually involved with NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, which is amazing. And she told my mom about a program called Peer to Peer. It's one of the awesome, amazing programs they offer here. And it's a class that you take and you go, I believe, for about 9 weeks, and you learn about mental illness, you learn about your diagnosis, you learn about how to deal with it, coping mechanism, you learn how your family can deal with it as well. And I learned how I met so many wonderful people, and there was support and there was education, and it was absolutely incredible. While I was there, they mentioned something called In Our Own Voice, which is I go out into the community and make speeches about how I can live a productive life living with a mental illness. And I remember they said something about like speaking. I was like, where? Right here. I want to do it. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm a presenter for them, and I'm also a facilitator. So I do trainings for In Our Own Voice, and they both have been absolutely incredible. It's been an incredible healing experience. I've been able to reach out to so many people. It's been an absolutely incredible journey. It has been the most frightening, frustrating, and exhausting experience of my life, but also the most exhilarating and rewarding as well. I've been able to meet some incredible people, and I would never take it back. I love NAMI. I love working with NAMI. It's been so important and so impactful on my life, because education about NAMI, education about living with a mental illness and being successful at it is the key to erasing that stigma. And I just think it is so important for everyone to understand that you can be successful and you can live a great life with a mental illness. It's not easy. It's really difficult at times, and it's quite frankly very hard, but it's absolutely worth it. Some of the responses that I've received from doing these speeches, I've given speeches to high school students, to churches, to adults, to nursing students, to psychology students. People have come up to me crying, saying, my daughter, my father, my brother, my sister, who at one point I had made a speech at a high school, and it was just a normal speech. It had gone great. Somebody had given a note to my co-presenter that said something along the lines of, you don't know how impactful you are, and just keep doing it, and I'm so glad that you're here. And that really, really, really hit hard. And that in that moment, I just knew that I wanted to continue doing this, and I knew I wanted to be a counselor. And the biggest misconception is, I believe, what is shown on the media, or what people have a preconceived notion about it, is that people who are living with a mental illness cannot do anything. They can't live a successful life. They cannot be in relationships. They cannot be functioning members of society, which is absolutely incorrect. That's just been a huge stigma, and that's been the biggest stigma we want to erase, and that I want to go through and erase. 1 in 4 people have a mental illness, and it doesn't just affect them, it affects everyone. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned. Support and education are the 2 biggest components to be able to live a successful life with mental illness. It is absolutely vital for the community to get involved with NAMI and have our support, because I know for me, it makes me not feel so alone, and it helps to expose NAMI. So maybe somebody who is living with mental illness and they have no idea, and they see it in the community, or they see a NAMI walk, they can go, oh my gosh, I had no idea about this. When I was 18, if I had someone come and speak to me at a high school, I think I would have been amazed and just shocked, and just not have felt so alone, and I think it would have really helped me a lot. That's one thing that I've noticed too, is that there are a lot of people dealing with this. And maybe it's not bipolar disorder, maybe it's not ADD, but it's other forms of mental illness, or just they need some support. And that's one huge thing that I've noticed, and has been such a wonderful discovery as well. I really want to give a huge shout out to NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I would never, ever, ever in a million years be in the place where I am today without their support and their care and their programs and their patience. And it has been an absolute honor to work with them, and an absolute pleasure.